5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us for another installment of the Skol Experience. We are joined tonight by Purple Pocket Podcast, the man Rap himself. Before we get into anything else, though, we do got a little. Me and Jamie do have to do a little bit of a personal back pat. Well, also, you'll see. We hit the 1,000 subscriber mark yesterday. 1,000 subscribers is kind of the first big milestone when it comes to YouTube.
And you delivered it so smoothly.
Obviously, it's not just us. It's everybody that watches, everybody that hits subscribe. It's these two below us, Rap and Dave. It's everybody with Purple and Skol Media. Everybody we've met doing this to help promote us. And it's fantastic. It's been a long grind, about 2.5 years, but we finally got there. And yeah, it's fantastic. Feels good. And as I said in the tweet yesterday, it is only the beginning. Jamie, what do you got to say?
Well, first off, I want to do some shout outs here because we got Gary in the building. I'm so proud of you guys. Sarah says that card is mine. Speaking of Sarah, coming for that card, and we'll get into that. Actually, of course, we hit 1,000. I told everybody in here I wouldn't post what we were doing on the thumbnail or in the title or anything, but 1,000 subscriber is a Daniil Hunter auto, 1 out of 50.
I just clipped that. You said the 1,000th subscriber, right?
The 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, okay. I got you. I forgot you were there. And Dave was actually our 1,000th subscriber. It took him this long, over a year of doing a show together before we decided to.
That was the fourth one.
I know, right? Come on,
that was my newer channel, man. I realized I had one more channel I hadn't subscribed to yet, so I ran and did it.
There you go. Shout out to
but
him,
let me
man.
do some. We got Joey Hawking in the building. Congrats on the 1K. Joey Hawking, hashtag 2K. That is what is next. We got Zoe in the building. Our boy Too Evil in the building. Who else we got in here? Skol Mafia's in the building. Two-Tone Tonys. Steve is real. So what up? What up? Everybody get those hashtag Skols in the comments. I don't care how many's in there, but this Daniil Hunter auto out of 50 is going to someone tonight. Probably the best giveaway we've done so far on this show. So get those in. Obviously, we'll do this at the end of the show. All that good stuff. But 1K, huge for us. You know, it's a hell of a grind, 100%. The gentlemen below us know that just as much as we do. Even though we got Rap. I mean, Rap's coming close to what we got, 3K around the corner for you.
Yeah, man. But hey, look, man, 1K, 3K, it's all the same thing, man. We're doing the same thing. You know, we're all working towards the same goal. So, hey, look, we just appreciate everybody that supports for sure. Appreciate everybody. Like, honestly, my only gripe is this, Purple Gang community, is I feel like GG Boys should have been there a long time ago. And I know it's nothing that they're doing wrong. You feel me? So, like, I mean, they have dope quality. Everything is up to par. They know what they're talking about. Like, there's just something that wasn't right congratulations, they got there now. And thank y'all for the supporting them. But still, they should have got there a while ago, man. That's my only gripe, man. You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate it.
But hey, better late than never, though, right? Better late than never.
Absolutely.
Some people, it take 10 years to get the goddamn 1K. You feel me? So
right.
Sure.
Right. No, we're pumped here. So, yeah, anyways, got that all the way here. Let's talk about some Vikings football.
First, how we feeling? Sarah, thank you. Sarah and Steve, thank you. Thanks for bringing them in here. We appreciate that. The more the merrier in these live.
Sarah's not allowed to play tonight, man. She gonna win the card, man.
Did she even get? Oh yeah, she got it in. She's got it in. You got to get the hashtag. So she said she was gonna make 4 different accounts for this show. So maybe that's just the second one.
Oh yeah, so when we see like a name we haven't seen before, it'd be like, oh
yeah,
what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hit that subscribe. Hey, as long as you subscribe, hey, I'm cool with it.
For sure, man. Shout out Sarah, man. Sarah been coming at my top last night, man. Me and Dave, man. She been coming at us heavy last night for sure.
Good deal. But yeah, as Jamie said, we got some Vikings football to talk about. Obviously, as we all know, coming off the disappointing 21-20 loss in Denver against the Broncos. It was a tough one. There were a lot of good things, but also some things that, I mean, obviously we'll kind of get into here. And I mean, number one has to be the fact that, you know, I thought maybe we were getting over the turnover bug. Unfortunately, it kind of came back to bite us again. And you really hate to say it because we all like him. We know he definitely does have talent. Too Evil, thank you so much. GG boys have given away their hats. They would have 1K subscribers sooner. Only fans allowed here. No Kurt fans.
No Kurt
okay.
fans.
Shot at Dave, low key. Shot at Dave. Shot at Dave.
Yeah.
You know that's Dave's what is it?
Well, I'm just glad Tuville Hope is finally
Nemesis?
a fan now that Kirk's not the quarterback.
Arc Nemesis.
We can all get
He
along.
finally is allowed to, root for us to win now, which is great.
But hey,
Yeah,
man,
we
we
love
appreciate the
Buffalo.
fiver, really do.
Dude, appreciate you,
But
too.
anyway, that player I kind of want to get into is Alexander
Okay.
Madison, who, of course, this season isn't really what any of us expected. I thought he was going to be a little bit better than this stats wise so far. I mean, he's had quite a few turnovers that have came in some bad spots. So, I guess let's just start there with the turnovers and what this team needs to do going forward at running back.
Obviously our boy SK, is tight with the Madison family, all that good stuff. But I do think it's time that we got to make Ty Chandler the RB1 and, spell his name out with Alexander Madison instead of the other way around. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, last game in general, even though it was Madison's best game of the year, he still got outplayed, in my opinion, by Ty Chandler in the same game. It just the biggest thing is just the speed. I think the difference in speed. I think our offense, we need speed from our running backs. We need another dimension to this, and something we are. And I mean, this is something that Rap's been talking about ever since we lost Delvin Cook. Is we just need someone to be able to come in here and break one loose at any moment of this game, and it's something that we've missed ever since not having Delvin Cook. Who knows where Delvin Cook's now? Obviously, we're not seeing much of him. I don't know if he still has it in him to do that. We did see it just a year ago, but I know Casey's thoughts on that.
Stop hating, Casey. Stop hating,
Yeah.
bro. Stop
But
hating, bro.
we're missing that on this offense. We haven't seen, I mean, we just got our first rushing touchdown by a running back, like a week ago or something like that. And obviously that's not okay, especially when we're hoping we can get a guy that can break a 50-yarder at any moment. And I think Ty Chandler can do that. I don't think Alexander Madison has the speed to pull that off.
Imagine how bad we'd be if we had Delvin Cook.
First off, Joey, we love you too, man. Thank you so much for the 10, Gary. Of course, you know how we feel about you, Gary. We do appreciate the $10 dono there. We really do.
Turn up for GG tonight, man. Let's get him to $100, man. Let's get him matter of fact, let's make it 150, man. Let's get him to 150 for the 1,000, man. Let's do it, man. Y'all make sure y'all support tonight for sure.
Hey, and for our boy Joey here, this guy's been in our chats like every show for the last few months or
Man,
so.
shout out Joey, man.
Definitely getting that wrench.
Absolutely. Wrench gang. Let's go.
Wrench gang. Officially
Joey,
Joey,
man.
our guy right here.
For sure.
Let's go.
Absolutely. Oh boy. All right. Sorry. This is my dad, everybody. Need to play aggressive the whole game. They get conservative and play zone when they had a lead in the second half. Absolutely. See, my dad, he sees me making money. He's got to stop in.
Papa Casey. So he was like, I'm not supporting until you get the 1K. I'm not supporting until you get the 1K.
He's got to bring me back down to talking about real football here. But
shout out.
But yeah, and obviously, Jamie, this is something that you've kind of griped on all year with this team.
Yeah, 100%. I'll let you guys take over. I mean, it's obvious. It's the biggest change of this entire season was when we stopped being so conservative, which happened in the San Francisco game. Even with Kirk Cousins in those two games, we were firing on all cylinders up until really the second half of that Saints game. And then we were also pretty conservative in that Broncos game, which ultimately we almost let the Saints come back because of that. And we almost, or we should have won this game against Broncos. Of course, there's the turnovers as well, was a huge part of that, but it's just both of those things. We can't put the ball on the ground, and we need to not play afraid. We need to not play to lose. We need to come out, and I don't care if we have to drop 50 points on someone. That's just what we got to do. What's your thoughts on that, Rap?
Man, let me talk to Casey. Let me talk to my bro, man. You know what I mean? Because hey, listen, me and him, if y'all don't know, man, in the group, and Jamie too, and some of Dave. I think Dave was more on the fence of if we can figure out a way to keep Cook, keep him, he would be happy with that. So I don't think Dave was as much as involved.
Yeah, I had an $8 million mark
Yeah, but
if he was
Casey
only gonna
for
cost us
sure,
$8 million.
Casey for sure, that I know for sure was like, no, we need to get rid of him. Madison's gonna be just fine. And I said, nope, no, he will not, bro. Listen, this is the thing, right? I look at it like this too. We talk about Dobbs and we say, all right, you know, Dobbs is better than what he looks because he's playing for the Cardinals. They have a trash team. Well, it's the same thing with Dalvin Cook being at the Jets. You know what I mean? Like if Dalvin Cook was still in the comfort of his own home here in Minnesota, he would not look like how he's looking in New York. So we can't really judge him off what's going on in New York. Like that's just how I feel personally.
And he is second fiddle in New York as well. Like he kind of came in thinking like he was going to split 50-50 till Breece Hall was full ready to go, which he is now. Right. And now he's getting like 3 to 4 carries a game. So to that point, yeah, I
look at it like this. Last year, Dalvin Cook had, I can't even remember how many runs that were over 40 yards, but it was a couple of them. You know, I just looked at his longest run last night was 81 yards, I believe, or I think it was 81. What'd I say, Dave? I commented. I think it was 81. Yeah, so 81 yarder for a touchdown. Me and Dave were at the Miami game. That was at least a 50 yarder. Right there. But he had 8 touchdowns.
It was a
big
he had
one. He had 8 touchdowns and 1176 yards, man. Like that right there. And to think that that's not good enough production, now we really see what it's like to not have a running back that can do things like that. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we're still winning though. So it kind of washed it because we went on a 5-game winning streak without the run game. So we're still blessed to have what we have. But Dalvin, to me, even this year, I know he's getting older and stuff, but I still think he would have been way better than what we have now. But to y'all's point, though, Ty Chandler, man, he has to be RB1, bro. He has to be. Like, it's not even close, man, for sure. Not even close, bro.
Steve, are you talking about mine back here or the one behind Rap? Because this one is old.
Yeah, I think we got the same one.
I think I had that exact one when I was 7.
You get one of those.
Mine has the white face mask.
Okay. Yeah, no, my dad said this thing's like 1980s, I think, which he might correct me in here.
No, I think Casey's more legit. It's got the gray face mask.
Yeah, probably because I don't think the Vikings had a white face mask, not with these old helmets. But yeah, I think this is just like a costume one. I think this is literally like a Halloween costume one, bro. So my mom found this at the flea market. Hanger. I paid 50 cents for this helmet, bro.
50 cents for that thing? Dang.
50 cents down here at the flea market. My mom
you paid too much.
Dang, let's go.
Down here, with Vikings gear, they don't even know what it is. They just give it away. They're like, "Yeah, that's some purple team over there. Give me $1 for it."
Again, hey Gary, no, shout out to Gary. That's our fucking guy right here. There's my 30 purple gang. I covered 30% step up Skol. Let's go, Gary. Let's go. And we got those hashtag Skols running in here. I got two-tone Tony here. We got purple and gold for days again. 1,000 subscribers means a Daniil Hunter auto out of 50, 1 out of 50, first on print. Get those hashtag Skols in the comments. Like the video. We have 18 people in here right now. Only 6 likes. Let's get those likes rolling in here.
Oh, I have to do one thing here quick. Let's see. Mike, enjoy the show tonight because once we're done here, you're not going to be too happy a little bit later on once
I like that.
Once the Wolves take down your 76ers here in,
hey,
Minnesota, which
no
I know
Embiid,
no Embiid, but whatever.
Back to the running back thing though is who knows what Dalvin Cook, obviously Dalvin Cook has more enough in the tank. If he was to come here, he's dying there in the Jets. That was not the right choice. Obviously, who would have known that Aaron Rodgers was going to get injured and everything, and their offense would be that terrible, and they would decide to roll with Zach Wilson for over half the year, besides to put this Boyle guy in, which is killing Garrett Wilson in my fantasy team this year, but that's whatever. What's your thoughts on the whole running back situation, Dave? Because you, out of anybody here, I mean, you're the number one Ty Chandler truther. So
I was a fan minus day one, like before he put on purple. So yeah, when we drafted him, I went and looked at the video and I'm like, how did this guy fall? And the only thing you can say is he finally got a shot. He finally got a shot at Carolina. He was sharing carries at Tennessee. I guess he probably played with Dobbs for a while. I'm sure they're paths crossed maybe when he was a freshman. Well, yeah,
maybe. That's a good
Gary
question.
he went basically undetected, and he had a monster senior year. There is not a weakness I could find. Like they were thinking like he wasn't shifty enough. It was just straight line speed or whatever, but that's not the case. I think he's plenty shifty enough. He's average or above there. But his breakaway speed's elite, and one of his biggest strengths was catching out of the backfield. He only caught like 230 yards this senior year, but that was one of his strengths. He said he could pass block. All this crap on Twitter, people trying to downplay his blocking ability just because their favorite guy is Alexander Madison. I'm like, dude, I mean, Dobbs held on to that ball. There's two guys wide open 5 yards down the field. Throw the ball. Don't get strip sacked. So I mean. Yeah, Ty Chandler's the deal. I think he can do it all. And he's got that quiet mind that the coach loves, I think, because the game does not look too big for him. A lot like Jordan Addison. The game just doesn't look too big for him.
Have we shouted out JJ since he's been in here yet? I see he's rolling through the comments. I don't know if
he's rolling. He's spamming. He's spamming the comment. Give Sarah the wrench.
Give Sarah a wrench and also maybe take 2 evils away.
We love Sarah. We love Sarah.
Does she not have one yet? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Do I get a say in who gets a wrench here? This is my art. This is our show.
But she's got the wrench on our
Take it away from 2 Evil.
No, take it away.
No, 2 Evil definitely gets that wrench.
2 Evil, my boy. You ain't gonna
2
do
Evil,
that,
yeah. I mean, he's like, that's why I say like 2 Evil's a troll, but he's our troll. Like,
I'm just happy he's back being a fan. Yeah. I'm happy he's rooting for the Vikings again.
Nah, he still want us to go.
No, he's still saying like 3 wins, right? Or 5 wins. Or 6
yeah, he still wants us 6-11.
He still wants us to lose every game.
Yeah, lose out.
And he says I'm not a fan. All right.
What else we got in here? So wait, what were we just talking about before we called Sarah and JJ out?
The running backs and how horrible these running backs are, except for Ty Chandler.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. This is something.
I don't think Madison's horrible. I think he's definitely a word. He should be on our team next year. He just should not be getting 15 carries a game.
Well, yeah. My biggest thing was the thing that made him so effective. I think, and I've said this multiple times. I'll say it again. But like the thing that made him so effective with Delvin is he was that like everyone came in preparing for Delvin and the jump cuts and the shiftiness, and then Madison hits you just like a brick because all he does is one cut and go. And I think this year, since he's taking on the role of being the starter because he kind of had that mindset going in, I think he's trying to play like those other running backs, and he's not playing like Alexander Madison. He's trying to, make too many jump cuts when he just doesn't have the quickness to do it. He is best in his position of just being a take the ball and find the hole and go. I think part of it is that he's in his own head, but I also think he's meant to be that change of pace bully. Like he's meant to be like a guy who plays 35% of the snaps, sure, but when he's in there, it's an effective 35% because teams are so used to the Ty Chandlers and the Delvin Cooks, the guys that can jump around and make those plays on the edges. And he's just not that guy. And I think he's trying to be that guy. He just needs to get back to playing Alexander Madison football. And I do think Kevin O'Connell needs to help him with that and like, you don't want to say taking snaps away because it sounds like, he's not talented, but I think he does need to
reduce the workload.
Yeah, kind of, but just like allow him to be himself by giving teams the taste of Ty Chandler more. And then when Madison comes in there, it's going to be a complete change of pace.
Well,
I think what needs to happen too. Oh, go ahead.
2 or 3 really phenomenal runs in that game that he got a lot of the yards on his own. But then I also seen him run into a center and guard's butts.
Yeah,
he do that a lot.
Yeah,
my thing I was about to say was
much like Dalvin Cook did against Cleveland back when we played the Lions last year.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, really, what they need to do is just like the same way how we operated last season with Dalvin Cook, just do the same exact formula, but just have Ty Chandler take Dalvin Cook's place. You know what I mean? That's simple as that. I mean, you ain't even got to think too hard about it. Like, just,
you could even give him a few more carries because Madison didn't even get the ball at all last year, it seemed.
And by the way, like that's only gonna motivate Madison more, right? Like, that's what happens with players. You take away their snaps, they're motivated. They want you.
Or just go with the hot hand.
Right, exactly.
Or what happened to holding people accountable? Let's talk about our head coach.
Put him right back out there after he fumbled.
He in his press conference was that today. He did say he did say something on that it's like they have to know that they can't put the ball on the ground. I don't know if I don't know what the exact quote was. Casey probably has a better idea.
He said, because they asked him about Madison. He's like, he does a lot of good things for us. He's done a lot of good things this year. We like him. We know what he can do, and he knows what he can do as well. But then he said, he's like, obviously we did have to have the talk that like you can't put the ball on the ground. He said that goes for anybody on our offense. And I know Dan Barrero on the Fan yesterday had Kevin Seifert on. He said the same thing. Like they said, what's the feel of Madison? They said they like Madison. They like what he can do on the field. But yeah, they're not happy with the fumbling, and it's happened too many times this year. So they know that, and they need to correct it.
And it's not just the fumbling, right? It's all those drops. He was at one time leading the league in drops along with TJ Hawkinson.
So it's like they are like when they ask Kevin O'Connell directly, and like when there's reports of what other people hear from them, like he knows and he's brought it up. But it's like, okay, but at what point, like, you would trust him to make changes, but at what point do you as the coach need to make the changes for him in a way and take snaps away, and I think that's where people are kind of wanting to see the growth from Kevin O'Connell at this point. It's like, just like if your guys aren't producing, you need to make changes. Like it's your job. It's what you're supposed to do. Like, you're paying these guys, but also you need to play the best players. And Ty Chandler multiple times looked like the better running back out there, the better all around running back out there the other night.
Catching, blocking, some people tried to blame blocking on Ty Chandler, which is nonsense.
Which he had a really nice block earlier in the game.
Absolutely.
Well, even on
the one that they're blaming him on, like Dobbs held on to the ball too long. Like that's just what it is. He should have got up out of there.
Guys.
Right.
He saw the blitz coming. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I wouldn't put that on Ty Chandler. And overall, I mean, we do feel like we need to roll with Ty Chandler. And to Casey's point, that has been the biggest thing about KOC, and something that we did talk about even earlier in the season is accountability. And if someone's not producing and someone is, especially if you're putting the ball on the ground, because again, after that, it didn't take, I think Ty Chandler did come out for like a few plays or whatever, but then Madison was right back in. And I mean, that's not holding him accountable, but KOC seems to take way too long to replace players. And we've seen it with Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne, where it took too long to make Addison the wide receiver 2, which was wide receiver 1 once JJ was injured. And then the same thing, we kind of felt that way with the offensive line once we got what's his name in Reisner. Yeah, once we got him in here, and then now it's just every single time it's taking him too long. I think he gets too, what would that word be called? Like too connected or too what I'm trying to think of the word, like too
loyal.
Comfortable, too loyal. Loyal is the word. Too loyal to the guys he decided to make the starters, where it's just taking him too long to put the hot hand in and see what they have. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Dobbs.
Using the word comfortable kind of happens a lot too, because like on defense, guys weren't seeing the field until Flores was comfortable with them, right? Like he's not comfortable with Lewis Cine apparently right now. So but he got comfortable with Booth and he started to see more time. And Pace is back being the man, right? And it's right. How comfortable is he with Ty Chandler? I think he is. I think
should be.
So it could be a defense for him, but I don't think so. I think he's completely comfortable with Ty Chandler, and it just doesn't put him in enough.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And
did you want to answer that guy's question?
Because that came from the does having Kirk and Dobbs now stop the Vikings from drafting a quarterback? I don't think so, because I think we're gonna get to the point of the year where at the end where Dobbs isn't quite going to show enough for this team to be willing to, like, they might pay him like a decent amount for a year or two, maybe not much for guarantees, to have the option if the right quarterback doesn't fall in your lap,
and that would be without paying Kirk Cousins.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Because you're going to pick one or the other. And at this point, you're probably going to go with the cheaper option, especially if the plan is to draft a quarterback. But you have a guy who has looked solid so far, who the more and more he gets acclimated to this offense, I think will show you good things. But it's to the point where you're not going to have just some random stopgap, quarterback who's going to be awful for a couple years to get you to the point of drafting your guy. I think it's going to be the point where you have a guy who's serviceable enough to where if you need him to start, he can. And if the opportunity presents itself in the draft to get your guy, then you take it. If it doesn't, you're like, hey, we have Josh Dobbs at a pretty cheap rate, and he's shown us flashes of being good in this offense. So yeah, I definitely think that drafting a quarterback is 100% in play this year.
Give me one second.
Talked about Dobbs' potential of being on a team as a starter, and I'm of the fact that it's a Baker Mayfield situation where he will sign $5 million in incentives, or maybe it's more with inflation. But Baker, I think, signed $5 million in incentives to go compete for the job. He won it. He's the starter. Yeah. So I think that is his only, because of just the way all the teams in their quarterback situation, and with the deep draft, he's just going to have to go. He is going to have to just agree to go compete somewhere.
Yeah. Give me 1 second here.
More with us.
Yo, JJ, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. Two-Tone Tony, I love you guys. But yeah, let's keep the spamming down. I saw the comments that these guys want to make sure they can see these comments in here. So definitely keep that spamming down. I mean, all you need is one hashtag Skol in here. I have to call it out because
it only reads one.
Like you're frustrated.
One counts the same as 100, so you might as well save your energy.
But we want to make sure everybody in here can have a conversation too, guys.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. But I wanted to ask y'all this, man, because I touched on this. This is something that I felt was interesting when we think about how Kevin O'Connell coaches, and we think about the running back position, like Jamie stated, with the wide receiver position, as far as. And some can even argue that Brandon Powell, man, I call him Powell.
Clutch.
You feel me? But
shit,
Brandon Powell should be over KJ Osborne in a way. If that's I'm not going to be mad at somebody making that argument. Right. I'm not going to lie, because he just seems like he runs routes a lot better. He just seems like a better wide receiver in my opinion. Faster. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to be mad if somebody dies on the KJ Hill with that argument. But still, when we talk about the quarterback position, is it going to come down? Because us moving off of Kirk is really in Dobbs's hands. Like, if you think about it, right? Because if Dobbs, because he has been turning the ball over, right? So if we go these next 7 games and he continues to turn the ball over, and even not even ones that the ball actually got turned over, the ones that were just turnover type of plays that were graded as turnover, high probability of being turned over, like the interceptions where the DB has to put his hand on his helmet because he knows he should have caught the interception, because they're going to evaluate all of that at the end of the season.
He probably had 2 more of those throws throughout the game.
He has like 2 or 3 a game, it seems like, recently, at least 2 a game, you know what I mean? On top of the fumbling, on top of, the actual interceptions. So what I'm saying that to say, if it's really solely in Dobbs' hands, because if Dobbs continues that, it's going to make the Vikings, it's going to make it easier for them to say, we need to bring back Kirk, because we're not going to win a lot of football games, giving the opposing team the football, right? And I just wanted to say, like, with the friend thing, is it easy because I know Dave didn't agree with this last night when I said it, but I said the friendship thing, man. Kevin O'Connell loves Kirk Cousins, bro. Like, they're like best friends, you know what I'm saying? In a way, like you would think they would be, right? So is it going to be, even if it's right for the team to move off, and we should move off, is Kevin O'Connell going to block the blessing as, hey, he's going to stick his neck all the way out for Kirk due to the relationship they have outside of football and even in football? How y'all feel about that?
I think no. I think Kevin O'Connell, that's the thing, is you have to realize, and I think that's one thing that's going on right now, and you're right with Dobbs. You're assuming that those are going to turn into some interceptions here. Obviously, he has been on this team for 3 weeks. There's all that stuff. Maybe, we see less of that. He's also been, 2 or 3 times a game fumbling the snap. So that's something that's worrisome as well. But
I forgot about those. Damn.
Yeah. So there's things about him. And even after that first game when he came in for Hall, and looking back I kind of went back into his tape, and it was like, all right, the things that we have to worry about him is he does have a knack for turnovers, and he has a knack for just missing some throws. And that's kind of what we've seen from Josh Dobbs these last couple of weeks. Obviously, his running ability and that whole thing is like, everything we ever wanted. But of course, you also have to be able to throw the ball. But even with all that stuff going on and seeing what happens moving forward here, I mean, if he's winning games, if I'm Kevin O'Connell and you have this guy here and we are getting turnovers and we're still winning these games, then you have to look at this like, why are we going to pay even Kirk Cousins $30 million a year when it seems like it could potentially be more of a system thing than just like Kirk Cousins is going to come in here and like give us our best chance at a Super Bowl. If you see a guy who came off the street, not the street, he came from the Cardinals, but has only started after like being on the team for 5 days, and he goes out and wins you this game, and then again wins another game. He should have won this last game. I think you have to look at that as like, I don't think we need a Kirk Cousins to be here and pay him when we can go, especially if we go draft a quarterback. If we can keep Dobbs around, because what what most of the league thinks of, and is what I'm starting to believe, is that Dobbs is just a high end quarterback too. And if we went that direction and we did go with him into the season, but we still drafted highly, I'm talking first round pick on a quarterback, and let them duke it out or whatever going into the season, but you save all that extra money that you'd spend on Kirk Cousins, you'd have to believe, if we continue winning, you have to believe that's a route that you should go on. Absolutely. Because instead of going out and paying Kirk Cousins, especially obviously the friend thing could be something, and Kevin O'Connell can like what I said earlier, how it's taken him to, he's kind of too loyal to his players.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Definitely a fair statement, but you just hope with Kwesi up there as well, you know, that you have to
we hope that number 32 is the starting running back. You feel me? But we're not seeing
exactly.
that. We hope that Addison was the wide receiver 2. It was so obvious after the first game, but
I wouldn't be surprised
like an injury for it to happen. You know what I mean?
If we start losing, if Dobbs starts just really messing up, and I'm hopefully if that does happen, hopefully we do give Jaren Hall his chance. And then if Jaren Hall comes in and it's obvious we're still losing games, and it's at that point we miss playoffs, whatever, then I do think it makes the question to sign Kirk Cousins. I probably even more likely. That's what's going on here. If once Kirk Cousins went down, it was kind of like, if we start losing games, Kirk Cousins will be around here next year. If we continue winning games, you could see Kirk Cousins not being here.
Yeah, I agree.
So I probably did disagree with you. I didn't know if it was a formal disagreement last night, but
yeah, I think I
said it would be I said it would because it would be the what they felt was the best decision
to win now,
be competitive, to win now, because as people are aware, as we do have a good team, and defense just needed a better coach. And I feel like we got talent on that team, that side of the ball. And then our offensive line, although Ed Ingram played like dog shit yesterday or Sunday. Sunday, I said yesterday. But I still think we probably still have a pretty good offensive line, and we got all the weapons and then some, if healthy, right? So I doubt it'd be him coming back solely due to their friendship, but more to when he left, he was leading the league in passing or touchdowns and second in passing. I just assumed that the offense was clicking so good against San Francisco and Green Bay that he would go off of the play more so than, that he has.
That's what we would hope happens, but it hasn't. That isn't the trend though with Kevin O'Connell. We would hope that happens, but it isn't the trend, right?
Well, I mean, both you guys want to move on from him regardless. It's just, I'm just saying that as a coach, are you moving on from the guy that was playing at an MVP level?
Right. Okay. I got you.
That's but obviously, point. I don't think you do want to move on from that. It would take Dobbs to play a hell of a lot better.
But the injury, you got to incorporate the injury, and I know Casey want to speak on it too. But you got to incorporate the injury too, though, because that also is gonna, come to the negotiation table. We can't just ignore an Achilles at 35 years old. I mean, that is kind of a big deal.
Right.
And win-loss,
but also with the way he plays quarterback, I don't think it's as big of a deal. And with modern medicine, yes, the advanced age obviously.
Kobe came back and scored 60.
Man, stop it.
Stop it. But look, I mean,
R.I.P. Kobe.
I am definitely more pro Kirk than anti Kirk. But at this point, I think if the Vikings do bring him back, it does need to be cheaper, right? Like it needs to be below market rate because, like you said, they do have the leverage there. It's like, okay, well, Kirk, you say you want to end your career here, you like playing here. I get it. That's probably just speak in some way. But if you're Quasi, you gotta sit down and be like, man, you gotta realize though, you're 35, coming off an Achilles injury. It's like, yes, we had Dobbs here, Jaron Hall, everybody looked good in this offense. Like we feel like we can get another quarterback and do it. We want you to let you.
Let's below market.
We want to let you stay here. Here's what we're offering. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can take your family, go find your next team to play for. We'll move on as well. But yeah, like I just think they need to, if they want to bring him back, it does need to be reduced for sure. I mean, and that's kind of where I'm at. And
well,
like I said, I think they have
two things there.
They have all the leverage in this situation.
Take less or below market. He's already below market at 35 average set value.
Less.
What you're saying is do us a big time solid and take even less, because
if you want to be on this team,
market would be probably 45, right? You think, because that would put him in the top 10, maybe, depending on what other players sign. That's still maybe even below market, but 35, that's way below market right now for the way he was playing compared to the rest of the league, right?
And
you just gotta, you gotta make a business decision. People want to throw $28 million onto him next year. No, that could be worked around. It would be 10 if they didn't change anything. So you got to take that into play.
But it is still there though, Dave. It is still there.
Yeah.
It doesn't disappear. It is still there.
See, and I still think
you're still paying Kirk an extra $28 million
He's already been paid it though.
Whether it's
I'm just saying that's the GM. That's not Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it comes down to
either way.
loss.
It is a very tough situation to be in for a team that wants to be competitive. Your quarterback was playing his best ball. He goes down with the injury. And now honestly, I think if you want to have the best answer about what this team should do at the quarterback position going forward, we're not going to have that answer until probably the last couple weeks of the season, right? Because if we really fumble and we miss the playoffs completely and we end 9-8 or whatever, 8-9, and it's because Dobbs didn't play well enough, then you're really scratching your head like, oh God, oh goodness, what do we do now? But if we make the playoffs and he plays well enough, then you have that option too when you go to Kirk at the negotiating table. It's like, hey, we got Dobbs here who will take a cheaper deal and we'll still draft our quarterback. And they're like, all that type of stuff is going to play into the negotiations at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Especially
and like you said, Jamie, it just shows that the system, like they can explain to Kirk, like, it's starting to look more like the system rather than the skill of the quarterback, which of course you still want a good quarterback, or you won't really want a great quarterback, but still yet you can say, hey, our system, we're kind of plug and playing right now, kind of like San Fran, if you think about it, right? We could go draft a guy in the first round and plug him in, or just have him compete with Dobbs. Like, we don't technically have to bring you back to win 8 or 9 games next season to have a shot at the playoffs.
Do another guy.
Yeah, we could do it with somebody else. You feel me? Like that's the facts. Like that is the facts, though. Shout out Skol for that Barber, man. Appreciate you, bro. Glad you got your plaque.
But
man.
We do realize that we won 13 games last year, and we probably were on track to be double digits again.
Yeah,
that it's not this old adage that Kirk is gonna win you 7 when he's never had less than 8.
But we also have to remember that he was 3-4 before he got injured, and that's giving him the Packers game. Which
but a lot of that, but you can't do that all.
I mean, you can't put. I'm not saying that's all on him, but he's still.
It's not all on him, but it's facts. Though.
It's still 3-4. Like, what are you saying? So now he's out, and we go 2-1 with a guy that's been on the team for 3 weeks. And should be 3. It should have been 3.
You also need to realize that the philosophy changed and all that, because Kevin O'Connell started getting more aggressive in the 2 best games Kirk Cousins played this season.
In the San Francisco's game, and I mean, you can say that, but I mean, I still.
I know you guys want to think it's plug and play.
I don't think the record.
I don't think it's plug and play. I think Kirk Cousins.
Well, you said it a whole lot.
Terribly for those.
I said I never said the word plug and play. I don't think that Dobbs is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. Do I think he brings in an element to this team that could be better for our offense? Well, one thing. Our two of our highest scoring weeks this year is with Dobbs and not with Kirk Cousins, regardless of his MVP stats. So
and 2 of our highest scoring weeks this year are with Kirk Cousins. So I mean,
2 of our 3 highest scoring weeks is with Dobbs.
Not
Kirk Cousins, and he won both those games where Kirk Cousins we had 30 points or whatever, 29 points against the Eagles, which we ended up losing anyways. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's plug and play. I don't think you can put anybody in here and they're just going to be better than Kirk Cousins. But I'm just saying that I think you could put I don't think Kirk Cousins is an elite talent. I think maybe.
No, but my thing, Jamie, real quick, when I mean plug and play, I don't mean like you just plug in a guy and he's better than Kirk. Right. What I mean is you plug him to play and we can still win the same amount of games.
Yeah,
like we can still win 8 or 9 games or maybe 10. You know what I mean? More. Like, because the system is so quarterback friendly with Kevin. I mean, let's just give our flowers to Kevin O'Connell and his staff. You know what I mean? For being able to prepare these young guys.
The San Francisco game, though.
When's the goal been?
San Francisco game, because before that you could not, because Kevin O'Connell was not calling good offense before the San Francisco.
I agree.
Something clicked that game.
Something did click,
which is why I just don't 100% like think that saying though the record because of what happened before. I mean, I get it; it's all part of it, but I just don't think it's a great argument just to use
but
in
you're
this,
also
in this scenario.
Yeah, I know. But I do think it's fair.
We talked about the record with Kirk Cousins since he started playing football. When we signed him, it was like the guy's a 500 quarterback. Like we knew the record was a thing,
right? And the points by like winning within 7 points or whatever, you know, that was definitely with Kirk Cousins. Like it's been Kirk. I'm not saying it's all on Kirk Cousins, but it's definitely true.
When has Josh Dobbs won by more than one possession?
That first game, the second. I mean, what was the other one?
No, I think we only lost by. Well, we won by 8.
We won by 8.
It's been 3. So that's been 3 straight 1 possession games.
Yeah, and then Josh Dobbs against Saints was a 1 possession game.
Okay, that's only 3 games.
We lost 1 point.
I'm saying we had.
I've said this on the show before. The Saints game, we had 1 good quarter, and we had a lot of penalties go our way in that quarter.
And I would say that
at the end of the day, though, like I'm playing devil's advocate. It's kind of fun sometimes. I 100% would be, if we move on from Kirk and draft a quarterback, I'm fine. If Josh Dobbs plays well enough because here's the thing, I am not a fan of let's have this team suck for 2 years, because I've seen people try that and then you end up sucking for 10 years and it's no fun to watch football and it's no fun to do this, right? I want to see this team be good enough and still be in a position to draft their guy and move forward. People say you can't do it. The Kansas City Chiefs were in this exact same situation before Mahomes. Sure, that's Mahomes. They had Alex Smith, who people said he's a great game manager quarterback, but he's never going to take him to the next level. They were winning their division. They were winning 10, 11, 12, 13 games a year, and they drafted a guy in Patrick Mahomes. Sure, you're not always going to find Mahomes. They drafted him at number 10, and they kept going. Like, I'd love to see that scenario, right? And I get it. Right. In order to get the best guy, you do got to bottom out sometimes. But then again, when was the last time that a number 1 overall pick has won a Super Bowl for the team he was drafted for? It's been a while, right? Probably. Do we know?
No, it's been a while.
Yeah, obviously top 5 will be a bigger. I guess not even top 5.
No, it really isn't even top 5, because Tom Brady won how many? Probably Peyton Manning, right? With the Colts. I mean, there had to have been one after that, I would guess.
Well, obviously, it's really hard to win a Super Bowl in the NFL, regardless. But you do have a lot better chance. Like Joe Burrow. I mean, he's taking Cincinnati
to a
Super Bowl.
A top 2 pick. Yeah, Joe Burrow.
You're talking about a top 5.
Was number 1.
Top 5 guy.
Right, but he still didn't win it. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like
it's more than likely if you have a.
It's more than just. It's better to say first round quarterback. Like
first round quarterback
between pick 1 and 32.
I got a question.
You know
do you guys feel like we're in a win now territory with this team?
I'm still. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard right now, especially with even. I mean, back to contradict my own point. But
let Danielle Hunter walk. You know.
But it's so weird, because the moves they've made, it shows you that they're not willing to move, like they're not willing to tank, right? Because you don't sign TJ Hawkinson if you're not planning on competing for the next many years. Like I think their plan is honestly to either luck into or take a guy who they see a future in later on and not have it be a top 2 guy. Because especially if you're going to do that, this draft class is where you're going to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
I think they're willing to take a top guy that would be
like a first rounder, like bottom.
I think they're willing to take a first rounder.
Yeah, well,
I just think the option of Dobbs is still on the table, Kirk's still on the table. I think Kirk's Achilles was the lesser of the 2 Achilles tears. It wasn't at the bone, it was in the middle. So that was lesser of the 2, and I think we'll know a little bit more about it when the season's done, before the new league year starts and before we have to, before the free agency starts. So I think we'll know more and have a better grasp on what the decision is then. And, I think they're going to choose the guy that they think is going to win now. And because we all want Daniil Hunter back, right? I think we all do.
Yeah.
That's not a let's start over move. Let's take up $25 million of cap space move right there.
Exactly. And that's where you have to ask the question, are you going to pay Kirk Cousins? I mean, if you got Josh Dobbs, how much do you think he's going to cost? Probably like 20 million. I think Kirk Cousins is going to cost.
I saw a guy on the internet, not internet. It was one of the websites of the Vikings. And here's how he free up another 30 million. And it was Harrison Smith moving on. It was
so you're saying to re-sign Daniil Hunter and Kirk Cousins? It would
push us up to like 85 million of cap space
and Justin Jefferson too.
And Justin Jefferson.
But again, in the first year of your contract, you can work it to where it's not a big hit. So I'm just saying that. But then you're also looking at Darius.
But then we're looking at having to pay Kirk some more down the road, though. Like we're
probably 30 because Kirk's going to get
again. He doesn't have the leverage to say I want 2-3 years now.
But I do think I think there's going to be a team out there who wants Kirk Cousins at least 35-40 million a year. I think we're going to see it, even with this Achilles.
Let him do it then. Go do it.
Well, like that's the thing. There's going to be teams that think that Kirk Cousins is going to be the player. Whether I think they're going to get tricked or not, I do think people are going to think that. I don't think this negotiation is only going to be between us and Kirk. I think it's going to be for him and other teams as well. I don't think it's going to be that simple. And I do think if we keep Kirk around, it's probably going to cost 35-40 million a year. And obviously when you want Hunter around, and if we made playoffs without Kirk Cousins after he did start 3-4, regardless of if it's his fault or not, whatever, we still made playoffs without him on this team. You have to wonder, and we are a competitive rebuild. We're a competitive rebuild regardless. And that is the mindset. So you have to think going and getting a first round quarterback, but keeping guys like Daniil Hunter around, and you see what Brock Purdy is doing with the 49ers, you do have to think to some extent you might be better off taking your chance on a young quarterback or a veteran quarterback and still leaving, guys like Daniil Hunter on that defense. Yeah. I like if you're winning games, that's why I think the big difference is winning or losing this season. Like if we lose all our games, then it's like, oh, we really need Kirk. If we're winning these games and we go to playoffs, especially if we win like the first round without Kirk, you have to think the upper management is thinking here, like, do we need to pay Kirk that much money if this guy can come here who's barely has any experience and kind of bring us just as far as Kirk ever has?
And I asked Dave this last night too, like, what's the difference between moving off this year and moving off in 3 years when Kirk decides to retire? Like eventually you're gonna have to face that demon regardless, right?
Question. That was rhetorical, so I never answered that.
But but going to Joey's comment here, like
I took it as a rhetorical question. I think you were on a.
No, I'm being serious though. Like I'm being serious.
What's the difference between moving on after 1 year or 3 years?
Yeah. So like in 3 years, we'll be having this conversation of, okay, now Kirk's really retiring. Okay, now what's the quarterback situation look like? Like, what's the difference between doing it?
We've drafted the guy. He's prepared. He's ready to go. And I don't think it's 3 years. I would say 2 at the most in this situation right now.
See, and my thing is you can keep Dobbs and draft the guy, and you can do the same kind of. That's my thing. Like is Kirk that much of a difference where we know for sure this team's going to go to the Super Bowl because we brought back Kirk Cousins and we drafted a guy. That's kind of where I balance it.
On the stat sheet, yes. On the win-loss sheet, not as much. On the stat sheet, yes. On win-loss sheet,
on paper,
it's not as obvious.
Like
which is all that matters in the NFL. Who cares?
I do believe it was Kirk's fault for us leading the league in lost fumbles and drop passes.
I mean,
Kirk was playing.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And to blame Kirk on 0-3 is
I'm not blaming him, but I'm just saying like it's
270 at halftime against the Bucs.
He's not the difference between us being a good team and not a good team. He's just not the difference between us being good or not. You can't say with 100% fact that he's 100. Him being here gives us the absolute best chance to win a Super Bowl.
And you can't say he wouldn't.
We've given him. I mean, last year 13-4.
Yeah, played a really good season.
13-4 was pretty good with that defense. wasn't
That
it?
was pretty good, but we didn't get the ultimate goal
we
though.
lost in the
Yeah,
first
with
round.
that defense.
But
It
he's
was
had
always
better
gonna be
defenses, and
It
he's
was
had
so
better
bad.
defenses.
Last year
He's had
was the
better
defense. This
defenses.
year it's fumbles. You know, next year
Yeah,
will
every
be
single
something
year.
else.
This year,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just is what
Why-
it is.
why'd we
Honestly,
lose
like
this
there
last game?
will always
Why'd we
be
lose this-
something.
Hey,
There'll
why'd we
always
lose this last game?
conservative
What do you
play
mean?
calling and
We-
fumbles.
We were
It's-
-3 on the fumbles. Oh,
No, for sure.
that's not on Dobbs.
Shit, I
That's
was
not on Dobbs. No, the turnovers weren't on Dobbs. I
We
saw that on
lost
Twitter.
that game because of that, obviously. But conservative play calling, I do think we could have won without those three.
Yeah.
Even with those, that's the thing about this
We
year
had a
in
chance.
general. Even this year in general, that's the thing is like even with these fumbles, we should have beat some of these teams, which is
Yeah.
crazy to think. And that's really shows like the Eagles, Tampa Bay, the Chargers, all those games that should have been won, even though we had at least 3 turnovers to 0. Which
We had
it
4
does
against
really
the Eagles,
but-
and we had 360 and 4 touchdowns from our quarterback. It
yeah,
was a good game,
exactly.
and they're the #1 team in the league right now.
right. And we should. That really does show the talent on this team. But yeah, I mean, moving on from
And that was
Kirk
before
Cousins-
our
Yeah, we'll move
defense hit
on.
the
We'll move
stride.
on. My bad, y'all, man. I ain't mean to
And that
start.
was before our defense hit the stride. Our defense wasn't that good.
We
the
know
first 3
Dave
games.
want Kirk back for sure, for sure.
I
You know what
think-
mean?
At least Dave, like regardless of what happens with that,
I said
if
if
you
we
draft
move
a
on,
guy
we move
on-
on.
if you draft a guy in the first round, we know what direction the Vikings are headed,
Mhm.
regardless.
Absolutely.
So
I think we're picking him. But I think if the guy's there,
we'll
we're
know.
picking him.
We'll know before. Because because you're not going to
Yeah.
go into the draft with no quarterbacks on your roster. So
Right.
Yeah, right now
know
we got-
what the plan is.
We got Mullins and Jaron Hall going into the draft.
Yeah. Dobbs will
Yeah.
answer all the questions these next 6 games.
But one thing,
Yeah.
look, one of the things you can sell me on next year is going into the season saying, "Yep, we're gonna keep Nick Mullins as our backup, and we're going Jaron Hall be our starter week 1, and whatever happens in the draft will happen." Because then at least like you're trying something with a young quarterback that you don't necessarily know what he has. You know, like I don't want to get like the point where Nick Mullins is our starter this year. You're like, oh, so we're gonna be that bad this year. I see how it is. Like because it's kind of like what Atlanta did this year. They didn't really have a backup plan with theirs. They threw Desmond Ridder out there and it's like, well, if he's good, he's good. If he's not, he's not. Then now they're kind of in no man's land. I at least want to the point where it's like Jaron Hall starting this year. We draft whoever in the first or second round, and they get to sit this year and learn. And if we feel like they're ready this year and Jaron Hall doesn't produce, then you put him out there and let him kind of earn his stripes on the field. Like, but I don't like I said, I'd rather. I know it sounds Rube-like and just people are gonna probably talk shit, but like I'd rather see us try to win every game we play. I don't like sitting watching 2-10 football for 10 years. Like I don't find it enjoyable. I don't like tanking because I think it's boring. I don't like watching people like lose. I get it. Oh, you'd rather watch mediocrity. Not necessarily. Like things happen. I'd rather watch your team try to win. And if the right quarterback ends up in your lap, then so be it.
Yeah.
And I look at it like we weren't like that before Kirk. So, you know, life before Kirk, we never were a team that would go multiple years being garbage and shit. So, you know, I don't think much is going to change in my opinion. Like, I don't think that my big thing is I don't think Kirk makes this huge difference where we're going to either have to suffer for 5 years of only winning 3 football games, or we keep Kirk and we win 8 to 10 games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's that. I don't think the drop off is that. I don't think the drop off is that.
Because our team's too
but I'm the guy with whatever decision they make. And again, it is what it is. Maybe it's called being a casual fan. I don't know. But if Kwesi makes a decision, I will sit there and be like, all right, let's see how this plays out. Where everyone's
absolutely.
And everyone's going to have an opinion.
Unless he doesn't draft
a
a quarterback in the first round. If you're going to play this competitive rebuild thing, I think that to me, that means you're drafting a quarterback early.
Right.
You're going to find a guy and you're going to go get him. As long as you do that, then I'm cool. I don't care if we sign Kirk Cousins to 2 more years, but as long as you draft, who you want in the first round and you go get him.
Well, and I don't even think it doesn't necessarily need to be, because I think you'll be able to find a talented quarterback in the second round. Like once you get past there, then you're probably looking at
there's
career
gonna be
path.
some
I hope
guy
they
drops.
want him.
But
I want to
but I-
feel that they know this is their guy.
But right,
Like-
and that's what I said going into last year. Is like I don't want them to Christian Ponder this deal where it's like, oh God, all of our quarterbacks are gone. We need one. We'll take that guy there, and then it's like, oh, he sucks. You know, like I said that going into last year. Like if they were going to draft a quarterback, I wanted it to be a guy that they believe in. Not just, I don't want them just drafting a quarterback just to draft a quarterback.
I look at it like this. This year, we would have made the playoffs with CJ Stroud. Like if we drafted CJ Stroud, we would be in the playoffs.
We might win the Super Bowl.
We would definitely be going to the playoffs. If we would have got Anthony Richardson, we still would have been a playoff team. Now, that's saying that he didn't get hurt. You feel me? Like he got hurt, unfortunately, but things could have been different. Like, so I even look at it when we draft the quarterback next year. I don't even think it's going to be that hard to beat out Dobbs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Dobbs is that much better than if you were to bring in a player that's to the caliber of CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. DTR looked pretty decent. I mean, he obviously isn't on those other two's level, but then Bryce Young is kind of an outlier due to the fact of his team it's looking bad for Bryce Young. He isn't looking as good, which Alabama quarterbacks, to me, they suffer something kind of like the Ohio State, like their team's so good in college. It's kind of easy to look good. Look at Mac Jones and all the quarterbacks come out of Alabama because that program is just built so well. They dominated.
Mateo, I was talking about the draft, like reaching for a quarterback who you shouldn't take because he was just there and you needed one. It had nothing to do with wins.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll move off, man. Yeah, let's goddamn talk about the Bears.
At least one thing we all want to go draft a quarterback early next year.
So and this year is the year to do it. Now I know it sounds like Quinn Ewers is going to stay in college for another year, so sounds like he's out. But
Sanders is
well. You honestly, some of these guys that don't think they're the top 4 or 5 and have the ability to go back probably will, because they want to be that top guy.
And they're making money.
And with
and they're still able to make some money. And I guess it would depend on your age and stuff, but because some of these guys, even though there could be first round talent, are not going to get drafted in the first round just because of the teams that already have quarterbacks.
Right.
I mean, me and Rap went through it and it was like they have a guy in the waiting. They have a guy.
I think differently. I think there's 10 to 12 teams this year that need quarterbacks.
You think so?
I say at least 10. I say at least 10
in the first round, though.
In the first round.
Well, but
that's what I'm talking about. Are they going to do it in the first round?
10 teams where there could be an argument that they need quarterbacks.
Damn.
Now, are they going to see it? Are they going to see it?
Not in the first.
Not necessarily.
Falcons. The Falcons for sure.
You think this is going to be the year that 8 quarterbacks go in the first round?
Well, it never happens that way. But I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. There's going to be guys that we think are really good that might not go there.
Yeah.
I thought Jaron Hall was the 7th best quarterback, and he went 12th or whatever in the 5th round. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting with Drake May and Caleb Williams in this draft. Like you can see a lot of like they're just going to be 1 and 2 no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we can't get them. I think Chicago, unless they can absolutely get Caleb Williams, or I still think that they really like Justin Fields. I know we had this conversation before, and I do think they do. I think Justin Fields doesn't go for anything less than a first round pick for Chicago if they trade him.
There was a report that that he would not draft a quarterback unless he's blown away. And I posted a picture of a guy in a hurricane.
Ryan Poles? Ryan Poles said that?
Yeah, and I posted a picture of this is Ryan Poles, and it's a video of a guy getting blown away by a hurricane.
If Caleb Williams is there, he's taking him.
I think if Caleb Williams there, maybe Drake May, probably
sure,
Drake
May.
May. Anybody else?
If they have a top 2 pick, they're going for it. And they will have a top 2 pick.
I think so, but I don't know.
You think other teams like Fields that they could trade?
Of course, there's going to be people. The guy the dude runs 100 yards just last game, and obviously you have to worry about his interceptions and stuff like that. But
let me ask y'all this: let's put a twist on it. Would y'all swap out Fields for Dobbs?
No.
Yeah,
I've seen enough of Fields to know that I don't want it.
I would swap
easily.
Fields for Dobbs. I think Fields would shine in our system.
You have to see like if Fields gets
maybe with an off season, but not right now, right? Maybe with an off season.
Yeah, I mean like during the off season. You get to get Fields for a 3rd or 4th round pick because the Bears are just trying to get rid of him. And because
I don't think it's going to happen. I know Casey's like 3rd round pick. I bet you I would put money.
He's not getting a first, Jamie. I don't think so.
He's
not played well enough. He hasn't played well enough.
I mean, a guy that can run 100 yards.
But think about what Trey Lance got, bro. Trey Lance went for what?
He didn't show he could run.
We can answer.
He never had an opportunity to show that.
That's
T
true, but
Bass,
he's also
he
showed a
has in
lot
his
of
contract
badass.
that he can't be franchised.
Ooh.
So
I don't-
yeah, he
yeah,
can't be
I don't know.
franchised.
Hunter. Yep.
Oh,
Timothy
Hunter.
Dale,
Oh,
yep.
okay, yeah.
I don't think they're getting that. If they get Caleb Williams and they trade Justin Fields, I don't see anything less than a second that they'll accept. I
Maybe
don't
a
think they're just
second.
gonna let him
Maybe a
go.
second, but they're gonna have to accept
Not
whatever the
even.
market
Very,
gives
from a
them.
very
Though. They don't
desperate
get to make
GM
that
who needs a
choice.
quarterback, possibly.
Yeah, that's the
I still
good
have a
thing
hard
about the
time
market,
believing
though,
it.
Jamie, is they don't get to make that choice. You feel me? Especially when you're talking about a quarterback that they spent the first round pick on. Now the ball's in our court or
Right.
whoever team that's negotiating because you guys want Caleb Williams. Are you going to get Caleb Williams and have Justin Fields sitting behind him? Like, what is that locker room going to be?
And that's what I said when we had this conversation the first time. Leverage means everything when it comes to
Yeah. But I do think you're going to see them hold on to Justin Fields instead. I don't know because I think Justin Fields still has
You don't
extremely
want to
high
split locker rooms.
ceiling.
You do not.
He
want
has
to
a
split
high
locker rooms.
ceiling. I still don't.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing it. Even
I
all the
agree,
hype,
though, man. I would
don't
take
think
Fields over
Justin
Dobbs
Fields is-
all day.
I don't think Justin Fields is that good, but I do think there's a bunch of people out there who still think he could be a really good quarterback in this league. 100%. I mean, the
I'm
hype
not
going
down
into
on-
this
I'm
season,
not off on him. I think he could be good somewhere. I thought he was the real deal coming out of college.
Yeah.
and I wasn't even big on him coming out of college, really, or I'm not big on him now.
I didn't want to
just
trade up
like,
for him, but
I feel like a
I
guy
really-
that can run
I-
100 yards.
I
and can
thoroughly hope the Bears decide to hang on to him because that would be the
Me
best
too.
decision they
Me
made
too.
since re-signing Jay Cutler.
Please
was back
keep
when
him.
they did.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
please keep him.
Like,
Let those
please do.
quarterbacks fall.
Please keep Justin Fields.
That's
beg
what I think will happen. I don't think they're gonna give him away for a 3rd round pick.
Man, I got to give a big
I
shout
hope
out to
there's
my
no
boy
way.
Tank Dale down there in Texans, though, man. I told y'all, man, during mock season, man. Y'all know how much I
Yeah.
wanted Tank Dale, man. Listen, Tank Dale is a beast, bro. Like, this dude is fucking
he
He's
is.
been, he's been carrying my fantasy team for the last
bro. Not only just yards, like touchdowns. He already has like 2 or 3 games over 150 receiving yards.
Him and CJ,
touchdowns.
him and Stroud have that connection. That's for sure.
I know,
That boy
bro. That's
hooping,
why we
man.
need
Shout
a
out to
Stroud.
Evil calling him a
Rap.
baby wide receiver, but he
Rap,
balling
and
like
I
a
know
mug.
I wish you were a little more higher on Ivan Pace Jr. You were so down on him, and now he's
No,
balling
Ivan
out.
Pace is
and-
good too, man. Yeah, shout
and-
out.
and
Ivan.
he-
And
and you just
speaking,
didn't believe in him.
Did he do good? I mean, I think he had a solid game. How y'all feel
Yeah,
about
he,
him?
uh,
in Denver?
he had a-
yeah, let's
Looking
switch.
back at it, he wasn't getting to the quarterback, but he was covering, sideline to sideline with the run game.
Which
Hey,
brings
Dan,
us
thank you appreciate it, man.
yeah, thanks, Dan. Which brings us into this Bears game.
I believe he had the highest PFF rating in any linebacker in the league too.
Okay.
Yeah,
shout
I think
out-
he has
shout
like a
out-
70.
shout out Pace gang, man.
Purple
76.
Persuasion on TikTok or Twitter. Sorry, Purple Persuasion on Twitter. Go follow him.
Let's go.
A lot of
man.
good info.
Let's go.
Actually, one other thing, of course, again, that Dan has brought it up. 1,000 subs means we're giving away this Daniil
Ooh-wee.
Hunter auto out of 50, 1 out of 50, first on print, gold auto. Get those hashtag Skols in the comments. Go subscribe to RAP Rap at Purple Pocket Podcast if you haven't already. If you haven't, y'all crazy. And then, of course,
yeah.
us GG Sports Podcast and Minnesota Sports Talk with Dave. Like the video if you haven't already. All that gets good stuff. But get those hashtag Skols for your chance to win this Daniil Hunter auto. The guy who should be the favorite for defensive player of the year, but always gets.
And he only can have it if you want him to be extended next year. Disclaimer.
Which I would love. That's the thing with him is like, obvious. I want him extended bad, but are we going to be
Absolutely.
able to do it with JJ and stuff? I don't know. Who knows? It seems like we can every single year. So,
Facts.
Oh, you can
when
just
anyone
draft
talks
a
about
guy.
Cap, when anyone talks
just
about
draft a
Cap,
guy.
I'm like, I don't know.
In the 7th round at that. You can just pick up a
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how many
that's
Daniil Hunters
great.
can you find?
No,
We
it
lucked
doesn't
out, got him in the
mean-
3rd round. It
Just
took
get
us
another
finding
one.
Daniil Hunter in the
Another
3rd
one.
round, who came off 4.5 career college sacks to get this dude.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. That is
like
crazy.
how did he even get drafted in the 3rd round with that?
I'm
production?
thinking this year I'm loving Daniil Hunter more than I ever have. Like I'm getting more attached to him more than I ever have, believe it or not. You know what I mean?
Dude,
I really
It's
am.
so
I'm loving
obvious how important he is since you don't really have
Super
many
important.
pass rushers on this team
Super
right
Link
now.
check to
and,
Brian
and,
Flores.
and playing in a defense that like actually features him and gives him opportunity. Like last year, nobody on this defense had any opportunity to do anything with the way that it was being called.
Absolutely.
Like, and this year, and
Anything
like,
that
and you're
good that
and you're seeing-
happened was an individual effort of guys just making individual effort because it was not a team defense at all.
No.
It
Well,
was
and you're seeing the fruits of it kind of kind of go down the tree here with DJ Wanham, who's having one of his best seasons because he's never he really hasn't played a full season being the guy playing across from Daniil because of injuries and everything, and now they're actually playing together in an aggressive defense. His talent is really starting to show.
Dude, Wanham's looking good. Like
really good.
You got to pay
Really
him
good.
Our
too.
whole defense. There's so
Really
many
good.
players on this defense that anybody would have been completely okay with cutting. With Jordan Hicks,
Harrison Phillips. Those are the two that I
People thought Jones was better than
and
Wanham.
Cam Bynum, and now Wanham. I mean, those guys are. I mean, I don't know if
You did?
it must be just Flores, but those guys have completely turned things
I
around.
like Jones. I like Jones's off the line speed better than Wanham, because I mean Jones had a big play on Sunday night, man. When he gets in there, he makes an impact.
That should have been a sack.
They're about
should have been
even,
a sack.
honestly.
They called it incomplete.
Yeah, they're pretty much even. I guarantee you, if you put Jones in there, like if Wanham goes down and Jones has to say, you wouldn't see any drop off at all. You know what I mean? You wouldn't see any drop off.
I've been impressed by Wanham. I've been impressed by his sacks that he's gotten has been impactful. Like he's bullying. He's like bullying the player he's playing against.
Bro.
He is definitely improved.
Yeah, because
we can't franchise him because you're not going to pay $20 million to Wanham. So you can't franchise him. So it's like you got to come up with some, Robeson type of contract.
We're definitely going into this next draft.
We'll stay in purple.
We need to get a pass. We need to get a legit young pass rusher if we can. I think
a young pass rusher and like a 360 to 80 pound, just mean dude right in the middle.
Nose tackle. Absolutely.
That's what we really need more than anything, to be honest.
We've been ducking
an impact making defensive tackle as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jamie, you and I were talking about it last. Like if we could have gotten Jalen Carter on this team, sign me up 100 times over for that.
Absolutely.
And the Bears
we can't get him because we're going to take a quarterback in the first round.
I was hoping that if he fell, due to the car accident thing, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. Because these GMs, they might play stupid in the offseason when the news comes out. But when it comes down to really pushing that button and turning in that paper, your ass is not passing up on Jalen Carter. And we saw that. You know what I mean? Like he did drop a little bit more than expected, though, because he was supposed to be like top 5.
He could have been.
He got picked like number 10? Was it like number 10 by the Eagles or something? Or number 8 or something? I know it wasn't.
Didn't the Eagles have like 10. A pick at 9?
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9 or something. Up in
the
that
Bears
traded up.
The Bears and Lions both passed on him.
Yeah, the Lions passed on him too.
Yeah, the Lions.
Well, they got
a beast too, though. They got a beast in Branch and Campbell. Campbell.
How we let them give Branch in the second
not
round
as good as Ivan Pace.
Campbell ain't as good as Ivan Pace. I mean, I said that a long time ago, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, you did. And back to the Ivan Pace thing, it is seriously incredible to see this guy wear the green dot and be an undrafted free agent. And I think Dave, were you talking about he was the highest rated inside linebacker?
I saw reported that he was the highest rated linebacker from PFF.
Yeah. We have like 4 players that made PFF this week for like highest. Like I know did Addison or this season so far, I mean like overall grade, like I know Addison's on there.
Christian Darrisaw's the number 1 tackle in the NFL.
Well, I mean, like rookies too, like our rookies. So
rookies,
Addison's on there. And I know
Darrisaw gave up a
Pace
sack
on
this
there.
last game, man. Just got beat.
Who?
Yeah,
Darrisaw.
Oh, Darrisaw.
He sucks.
Ed Ingram there's a couple times Ed Ingram's just on his back. I'm like, come on. But yeah.
Even Blake Brandell, man, get rid of his ass. Let me stop.
Chris Reed.
Chris Reed, man. We don't need Darrisaw no more, man. Just pick up another one in the 7th round.
I'm telling you, Ed Ingram got his ass just handed to him this last game.
Yeah.
He's back.
Going back to Ivan Pace real quick and just this matchup against the Chicago Bears. Yeah. How is your guys' feelings on this? Obviously, this is a game that we should win. We're definitely the more talented team. We need to come after a disappointing loss against the Broncos. We need to bounce back going into the bye week. The only test, and even though I know you guys definitely aren't big on Justin Fields, but I do think if we're going to win this game, it is going to be stopping Justin Fields running, which might come down to Ivan Pace Jr. maybe being a quarterback spy in this game, or what's your guys' feelings on the Chicago game?
I think Brian Flores is game plans well for mobile quarterbacks.
Yep.
He's been been the exact opposite of our team's history.
Absolutely.
With Brian Flores and mobile quarterbacks, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
So he had 50 yards passing against us before he got hurt in that game.
Yeah, he did have
50 running.
Yeah, 50 running before he got hurt. Yeah,
or like 40 running, 55 passing.
And he's gonna do that. He's gonna get his yards on the ground.
Right.
But you just got to try to contain it.
But you've noticed it with every mobile quarterback we played this year is Flores definitely does game plan for it. Like he had a really good plan against Jalen Hurts. He had a really good plan against Fields the first time around. Like he was solid against Mahomes for most of the game. It's just like
the only quarterback he didn't game plan well for was
Justin Herbert.
But
you can't game plan for that.
Yeah, that one was.
And Keenan Allen is just he's got to be the most underrated wide receiver in recent memory.
We were talking about getting rid of him this year.
Consistent. Yeah, dude, he's consistent every single year. People don't put him in their top 10 or whatever, and he's always putting top 10 numbers consistently ever since he's been in the league.
What did you guys think of Blackman in this last game? I feel
he did not look. He had a couple rookie mistakes for sure.
We literally created a video calling him cornerback 1, and then
I'm pretty sure the Broncos' game plan once Evans was down was pick on that guy, pick on the rookie, and they did that multiple times.
And those are talented receivers.
Yes,
Courtland
Sutton.
Yeah, Courtland Sutton is a sleeper.
Big dude, bigger dude than I thought. I didn't think Blackman was a small guy, but he looked tiny on that jump ball.
Yeah, he did.
He gets kind of stuck in the headlights a little bit. I feel like
he's a finesse type cornerback. He's not a physical. He's not a physical
on
cornerback.
That Courtland Sutton play, like he was late. I mean, if you watch the whole play, not just like the close up on the actual touchdown,
he had plenty of time to get in front of him. You know.
Yeah, but he sat there for a second. He did the same thing in the Saints game.
Yeah.
When it was to A.T. Perry or whatever, when Winston threw like across his body or whatever, and then it ended up being on Murphy, but you can see Blackman was just kind of like standing there for a second while Murphy was the one that reacted to the play. So there is like a couple things I see with Blackman where he like maybe he just freezes for a second, or that's something that I saw in him.
He's playing with his eyes. He's too busy staring at the court. That comes from
I
looking
think he's
at
a
the
man guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's man defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a finesse cornerback. Like he'll get a lot of like flashy interceptions. We'll see, throughout his career. But we won't see a lot of like punching out and stuff like how Caleb's a punch the ball out, and because I feel like a Caleb, but again, he should have used his smarts and smart enough to know even if you felt like you couldn't out jump Courtland Sutton, all you really had to do on that play was just push him out of bounds. You know what I mean? Like you could have easily like in the air just use your body and push him, because he wouldn't have been able to put his feet down if you would have just put your shoulder.
Yeah, that would have been cool if you like wrapped him up and carried him out of bounds.
Yeah, like that's all you really had to do. But in the heat of the game, you got to be like on your football IQ, P's and Q's to make a bang bang play like that. But it could have been as simple as that. Even if you realize, hey, this guy's gonna out jump me. I see the ball's coming high. Let me just push him out of bounds. You know what I mean? Right when he touches his hands, touch the ball, just shove him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what he should have done. Lean into him and just forced him out of bounds.
I forget Mateo hates Mateo. By the way, Mateo, what's up, dude? What's up? But you're not a fan of small guys.
No.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to see who Mateo is a fan of.
Shout out Mateo, man. He like Evil 2.0, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he likes if you're from LSU, he like
who he like.
That's right.
He like who he like.
Yeah. If you're from LSU, he likes you. If you're from Michigan State, you're automatically a bust.
Hey, I rock with it though, Mateo, man. I like who I like too. You know what I mean? And hey, listen, Dobbs made me apologize, but again, I still think Dobbs is Dobbs, and I think we still gonna see why 7 teams passed on him. In all reality, I do believe reality will strike.
And for him, the only thing, like obviously even with you, Rap, like seeing what he can do with his legs is.
Absolutely, it's electric. I love it.
Dream from our quarterback.
I love it. I wish we can I was telling Dave. I think I told you this, Dave or Dave. I said I wish we can put Kirk and Dobbs
And
together.
him
You know what I'm
together?
saying?
Oh,
Like,
that would be like
just
the
give
perfect
Kirk
quarterback.
Cousins Dobbs like legs and stuff and
Dude, it'd be
escapability. Oh
insane.
man, it would be
Yeah,
best quarterback in the NFL.
100%.
Facts.
And that's the thing. That's what we're missing with Dobbs is like if we're gonna feel like if we want this good feel story to come to fruition and he ends up being the next Kurt Warner or something
Yeah.
crazy like that, is he's gonna have to show some sort of deep ball, and that's something that he hasn't in these 3 games. You know, he's been there for 3 weeks.
Had a couple
or
good
whatever.
throws down the seam though. The one to Josh Oliver was really good. One down to Hawkinson was good. That Ty Chandler picked up the blitz.
Yeah. And those were pretty deep, but not like a deep. That was like, I mean, they were wide open.
But like a deep ball, like pressure in your
like,
face, and you still throw a dart. Like how?
But also, I think the concern is like you almost feel. I know Jamie, we talked about earlier. It almost feels like maybe O'Connell doesn't trust him to do it because like a lot of times with the short passes, you're trying, like you said earlier, trying to get those safeties to come up so you can take your shot. The fact that we're not taking the shot, maybe it makes you think that Kevin O'Connell's like, yeah, this guy's a little bit limited at this. I don't really trust him to do it, so we got to keep it. We got to keep it simple.
Yeah. And it might be just not right now because that is a high risk play.
Well, yeah, right. Because he's only reality. He's been here for 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's only been here 3 weeks.
Been in the learning the offense as a starter for 2. So there's plenty of time. Still plenty he has to learn here.
But I watch his tape and he really doesn't throw the ball deep. Though. Like,
so I think like he ran instead of throwing the ball. Like he scrambled instead of throwing the ball with anticipation to a guy who is going to be open.
Yeah,
like I feel like that shows a player has not been around long enough in the offense to know his know how fast the guy is or know where that guy's gonna be, because you get that feeling, okay, let me adjust my route to go to this area. And I think one of the last plays he scrambled for his life and freaking Addison was wide ass open. Or he was getting wide ass open. Like if he threw that with anticipation, he would have hit it. But he scrambled instead. So there was several of those plays.
I got some faith in him. I got some faith in him.
I mean, it all comes down to coaching. It all comes down to coaching.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's a guy that's just not been around long enough that he just hasn't got that comfortability yet. I think he has that ability. I think this last game he was the least accurate he has been, which is kind of crazy, because the first game I felt like he was the most accurate than the third game. But those guys seem to be wide ass open, like everybody was wide ass open in that first game, it seemed. But he's had tighter windows and it's starting to show a little bit. But I think it's more like the play they're blaming Ty Chandler on. I'm like, he on the top of his drop, he has 2 guys first down, wide ass open 5 yards down the field doing curls, and he held it. And he threw it late, and then the ball got knocked out of his hand. So I think those will come. I think he'll improve on that from game to game. I think he'll get more comfortable with it. So,
and just the fact that he can, I mean, the defense is able to bring up their safeties and stuff because it's probably going to be a short to intermediate throw, and then bringing up the blitzes. Yeah, and bringing up the blitzes as well. Like you can blitz him because you're not worried about the deep ball really, and I think that's what happens. And I do think in this Chicago game, even though we already looked, Chicago is like the worst graded pass rushing team in the NFL right now, which the Vikings, according to PFF, are the number 1 graded pass blocking offense. But I do think Chicago is going to come in here and they're going to try their best to bring the pass rush, because at the end of that last game, if they're watching that Denver Broncos tape, that is ultimately kind of what happened in that last drop. You could see like he missed. Obviously, I mean, you hope TJ Hawkinson still could catch him or whatever, but he threw too high, and TJ had to jump up for him. Gave the defender enough time to hit the ball out of his hands. All that.
Well,
stuff.
He should have thrown it farther to the sideline.
As well. Yeah, he just told, I mean, it was just not the best throw. So, I mean, if I'm the Chicago Bears, that's what I saw, and that's what I'm coming in this game looking at. So if I'm Kevin O'Connell, you're going to have to drop some sort of deep balls throws. Otherwise, they're going to be able to keep pushing up their safeties, and they're going to be able to cover you short and in those intermediate throws. And then they're also going to be able to continue bringing on the blitz and pass rush. So I think that's something that has to somewhat change in this game. And it does suck because also, regardless of Kevin O'Connell's play con, regardless of Josh Dobbs, we don't really have a deep threat at all. And I think Jordan Addison can do it, but you are talking about a small wide receiver that isn't supposed to be a prototypical deep threat guy, and JJ is as close as we have to that. So I think some of that has to do with that as well. So you even hope when JJ comes
didn't
back.
look. Were they single high, too high? What were they playing most of the game?
I can't remember.
I don't even know. I just know at the end they were definitely bringing their safeties up.
But also with deep shots, though, it does come down to like the quarterback, receiver, how comfortable, like comfortability and stuff like that too. Because you got to know how fast your receiver is, you got to know when to throw it, you got to know where to put it so they can go get it. So I think you need to have that comfortability, which obviously is a thing that hasn't grown here yet, especially with who you expect your deep threats to be. Like I do feel like Powell and Dobbs do kind of seem to have a little bit of chemistry right now, because he's kind of the guy Dobbs goes to, but he hasn't taken the deep shots to him because that type of stuff takes time. That takes reps to get those deep shots down. Like
he's pretty good in that 15 to 25. You know, he's on those out routes and stuff like corner routes. He seems to throw those really well. So I feel like I have confidence in him throwing it deep. I do.
Yeah. He has Mateo's point here as well. It's like you do feel like we don't have any receivers right now that can either make those contested catches or get separation. Because KJ, he's never been that guy. Addison, yes, I think because of his size, you probably say the same thing with Powell. I think they are playing him a little tighter to where if you do get physical with them, they're not going to be able to break off and get open. So you are noticing that as well on some of those. And there's a couple where Dobbs, I think I saw one on Addison where he was going to be able to shake open, but Dobbs put it a little bit behind him instead of on his body. So I do think that is an issue as well. Thank for sure. Bro.
Shout out my boy Q, man, from Black Cat Panther Podcast, man. Appreciate you tapping over here with the Brodies, man, for sure, man. Shout out to him, man. Listen, everybody go subscribe to my guy. Listen, he also has one called man, drop it in the comments, Q. He from my city too, man. He from the Chuck too, so I gotta show love to my dog. But he actually has an NFL channel too. It's called like Tailgate. Something tailgate, the Tailgate Experience or something like that. So make sure y'all go sub to him, man, for sure. You want to get a good laugh, man. You want to talk about Bryce Young? Yeah, you think we don't like our quarterback? Shit, bro, my dog too. Hey, he beefing with the whole Panther Nation behind goddamn telling the truth about
Apple trade you.
So shout out my boy Q, man.
Rap, you weren't high on him either.
I was, man, for sure. I knew he was from my city, man, when I heard him the first time, man, on the podcast, man. That boy do not bite his tongue, man. Hey, listen, man, good ass show, man. Entertainment for sure.
Let's go. The Tailgate Experience. Everybody
Tailgate Experience, man, for sure, man. Y'all go tap in with him for your boy R.A. Peasy, man.
Let's go.
David Naylor would definitely be an option, but again, it's
I wish we saw a little bit more. That's another one where
I knew I like this other David. I'm with David.
Yeah, David. Yeah,
I'd like to see more of him. And it sucks that his injury he had all the momentum, and his injury kind of just.
Yeah, he was our 3, I think, or 4.
Yeah,
or
4.
Yeah.
And he played 93% of the snaps when he the previous week.
Hey, my boy Q said we'll take y'all QB. Hey, shit, get him. Hey, he gonna be available.
I'll take my chance on.
He'll be available.
I'll take the chance on Bryce Young instead of Kirk.
I would too. You know, I think. I mean, it is
because Bryce Young is still.
I think the situation is not doing him any justice. But then again, you know, he is like if you actually watch him play though, like he is making some. That size is affecting him a little bit, and maybe he'll catch up to it. You know, maybe experience will be on his side. You know, just playing more and shit like that. But right now, boy, it's looking like they should have went CJ Stroud, boy. I'm telling you.
Oh, definitely.
I heard that Frank Reich wanted CJ Stroud, but he was overruled by the owner or GM.
That's another good read, man. I'm telling you, Casey, if you got free time, bro, go listen to my boy Pop Brown. I'm telling you, like when I tell you straight F this, mother F that, like just going in type shit, like, bro, you want to talk about passionate though, like passionate fan base that really hate management because the way they running shit over there, and I feel they paying, man. So I be over there tapped in, man. I mean, tapped in with them.
If you got 2 guys that are considered 1 and 2, like they're the 2 guys, and you're like you can't. It's like almost you can't go wrong. Yeah. I'm going with a guy that's 5 inches taller.
In fact, that's what Q. That's Q's biggest point too. Is like, man, he's just he's a little boy. You know what I mean? Like he's small, man.
I loved Young's tape when I looked at them. Again,
Yeah.
you are both those quarterbacks are playing with really good players and stuff like that. But it's just his improvising to be able to avoid pressure and extend plays with his arms and stuff. Bryce Young looked fantastic in that. But that's one thing that's one thing when we're doing, obviously, since we started the show, I never really looked that deep into players and stuff. But
Right.
the size thing is still something that like I have to get a better understanding
Mhm.
how
Yeah.
important that is in the NFL.
Well, you
even
got to
though
think people in
Madison
NFL, they're a
is-
lot bigger. Like
Yeah.
when you
Well,
once you
right.
get into the NFL, the whole team is big, like the whole line. To where in
Well, and it
college,
just-
you'll still have your smaller guys and shit
Yeah.
on the line. You know, what
And
I'm
it
saying?
just because a lot of times those guys are college players. That's why they never
Right,
make it
and they're
pro,
college
because they're
players,
not big enough. But like,
Right,
but it's just crazy though when you watch a guy as unstoppable as Bryce Young was in college.
Yeah.
Like you realize, and I think everyone knows this, how big, especially at quarterback, that jump from college to pro
Oh yeah.
really is. Like
Is.
it's
Oh
nuts.
yeah. Yeah. And that's why there's such thing as a prototypical type quarterback that you look for as far as size goes. You know,
Yeah.
that's why that exists. Like you taking a risk on a guy that's an outlier, like a 5'10" quarter. You're taking a risk because it's like, no, you need 6'2" or better.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm
you need
like-
that
Which
6'2",
I'm
right?
like
which is what
6'2".
CJ
Because Jaron
CJ
Hall's
Stroud
like
really did
6'.
have it all when it comes to size, arm, and
Right.
acumen when it comes to winning. Like
Right.
he won in college.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I mean, winning again in college doesn't necessarily mean everything, but
No, because Alabama, that's another thing too. When you judging quarterbacks from Alabama, it's hard because their system is so good that
and I think that was actually Jamie's biggest gripe when it came to
CJ Stroud.
Stroud. And I saw it from his perspective as well, how like when in college did Stroud never play with a receiver who was going to be taken in the first round?
He always has top wide
His
receivers.
offensive
Ohio
line
State
was elite.
quarterbacks. Yeah.
He played
Yeah,
at
especially
Ohio
recent.
State, which was a perennial top 4 team who could, and
They're
that's the same thing with Alabama. They
producing the
could recruit,
greatest wide receivers of all time right now.
they could recruit
Yeah.
with the best of them, right? Where Bryce,
Right.
yeah. So I mean, Bryce Young had the same thing, obviously, going to Alabama. Like, let's not
Right.
act like he didn't. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things where it's like,
Yeah.
like Stroud's team was stacked, and his
Yeah.
offensive line was good. He was a prototypical pocket passer in college because he didn't need to move around. Like he could still run, but he didn't need to because his line was good and his receivers got open. So
Yeah.
and his running
Yeah,
game
Dave
was
got a point though. Drew Brees, Doug Flutie. You know, you can argue Russell Wilson.
It happens.
It happens. It happens. You know,
It definitely happens.
And
And Bryce Young
all
still could, I know Black Cat Panther podcast. I know he probably doesn't agree, but Bryce Young could still come around because I think he really got legit talent. But
Yeah.
man, yeah,
he could throw the rock. He could throw
nice
the rock.
thing is, and he does have skills, man. I mean, there even when we played against him, it wasn't that great watching him, but there was a
Yeah.
couple times where he definitely should have
Oh,
got.
this last game, man, he had a QBR of 8, bro. A QBR.
Well, I mean, and again, I think with him, it might be the thing where he just needs a coach that's going to let him play. You know, and it could be one of, like, I don't watch a lot of their games, so I don't know.
right.
But I really do get the feeling like maybe they just need to let him like be himself out there instead of,
yeah.
you know, I mean, he might like one of those things where he might just be feeling the pressure of being that #1 overall pick and having.
He's seeing how CJ Stroud balling, and he like, man, fuck.
Oh yeah,
You know
that
what
would
I'm
piss me off. If I,
But, like,
if
you
That's
can
some
tell
pressure
CJ
right there. That's
one,
some pressure.
number 2 to come out and,
but you can tell
arguably
CJ
having an
Stroud is
MVP season.
CJ
Yeah.
Stroud is playing confident. He's out there.
Absolutely.
He's out there playing like he, you know, like he knows.
Like
what
he's been in
he's
the
doing.
league 5-6 years,
And
boy.
he's getting
Yeah, where Bryce Young
better.
isn't quite there.
Showing growth. Yeah, and he's showing growth.
Yeah.
Like he's getting better as the year, like as he's getting comfortable, he's showing improving, which is I think is really important, especially if you're going to be a quarterback like that. Like being able to show improvement that young is super important. And that we saw even with Trevor Lawrence, like his first year wasn't really that good at all. But then going into year 2, he took a step forward, and then the next year step forward that.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes it does take a time for some quarterbacks to get accustomed to this league, especially for Bryce Young, who does, I mean,
have to
his
overcome
best
the
wide
obstacle
receiver-
of size.
his
his
best
wide
wide
receiver,
receiver is Adam Thielen, which I mean, obviously we love Adam Thielen, but I mean,
He-
he's not
yeah,
a wide
he
receiver.
was our.
one
We got
anymore.
rid of his ass. Yeah, we got rid of his ass.
So I mean, that is fair to say, but at the same time, Stroud isn't playing with the most. Maybe they're more talented than people thought.
Stroud
And
got my
they
boy
got a
Tank.
really-
Stroud got
Yeah.
my boy Tank Donnell, man. That why he
Oh.
got my boy Tank down there. I told you. I would have took Tank over Addison. Facts.
Well, he has
I
what
would.
Tank, and then he has Nico Collins, another young receiver that's playing
Collins,
really
yeah.
well right now.
I think
Yeah.
Addison's gonna be something else. I think
yeah,
Addison's
he gonna be good.
Well,
for sure.
the thing is, Jordan Addison was supposed to be a #2, 3 receiver, not a #1. And since he had the big games against San Francisco, Green Bay, he's been treated as the number one guy.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. It's like he's not
properly
living that. He's not able to develop like we all thought he was going to.
I'm so glad we didn't get that Quentin Johnston dude. That boy is ass,
dude,
man. Oh my gosh.
And I mean, even JSN isn't as good as people were hoping.
I was saying Quentin Johnston was so I was, man, I got videos from the draft time where I'm like, please do not get this dude, bro. This dude is not good, bro. Like this dude, no. This tape is not good. I don't give a damn. I'm so glad.
What was the Saints receiver? A.T. Perry.
Oh, A.T. Perry, yeah.
He scored his first touchdown against us.
Yeah.
Surprise.
But no, I think Jordan Addison I think he's legit. I think he's going to be a wide receiver 1. I think he showed how good he can be. I do think you think
he's going to be a wide receiver 1 over Justin Jefferson?
Oh, no. I think just like, I just think he could be or whatever. In any team, not over Justin Jefferson,
teams.
not on this team. Like if you were just going to put a category of wide receiver 1s, wide receiver 2s,
I got you.
I think he could be a wide receiver 1. I think
we pretty much got 2 1s. Yeah, we got 2
Yeah. And he might not be there right now. He's 21 years old. I mean, he's a young player. He's a rookie, but his route running is far above where he should be at.
We just got to get a little more physical. You got to get more physical.
And that might be something that
he's got to learn the pro game. It's different. It's a totally
and
different
he might never be. I mean, he is a smaller guy regardless, but the guy's routes are insane. His toe tapping stuff is insane. His balance is like these are elite traits by a wide receiver. So I do see good things about
like
him.
Diggs 2.0 to me.
Yeah, and obviously you bring in a guy like Dobbs in who isn't going to be the best accurate passer in the game, and he has to build chemistry with your players. I do think that's going to hurt Addison. I was not surprised once Kirk Cousins got hurt. It was like, well, Addison's production is going to probably dip here. It sucks.
Especially when the quarterback that he's playing with the majority of the time now, he's known for 2 weeks. Like,
exactly.
For sure.
So, I mean, I think Addison's.
That's why I'm worried about the Justin Jefferson comeback, because I think the numbers are Justin's definitely going to have to get used to, maybe not getting the 150-yard games as much. You know what I mean? So there's definitely going to be a change there. We're going to really see what type of quarterback we have. What type of wide receiver we have.
You'll be introduced that anybody can throw to Justin Jefferson.
Well, I know there's people that can. I don't think Dobbs is. I never been on the Dobbs train all the way, man. I'm Dobbs.
Dobbs not on that. Anybody can throw to
man.
Justin Jefferson list.
Dobbs isn't on that. Anybody can throw to.
I'm really intrigued to see how Kevin O'Connell is going to work JJ back into the offense.
That's why I wanted him this week, so we knew a little more going into the bye. But does it?
They said it's still possible. They said it's still possible. They said they'll see how he feels tomorrow.
The bye week is going to be so interesting, especially if I don't think it's going to happen, but if we lose this game against the Bears, or if we win and Dobbs looks really bad, it's going to be a really interesting bye week. There's going to be a lot of things.
I'm now blaming you, Casey.
Jeremy Mahomes Hall.
I'm now blaming you for the loss.
I know that's
if we lose.
It does suck to see Jaron Hall have that really good drive, and then who knows if we'll get a chance to see him. Like
someone
hopefully,
earlier in the chat said he would rather see him 1,000%. I would rather see him the rest of the season.
Ooh, Hall?
And I think
Stiff Richards. I would rather here.
I'd rather 10,000 see.
It's so.
I think Dobbs has earned his.
It's a really tough
I think
spot.
Dobbs has earned his spot as being the quarterback 1 for now. But if people start picking off those passes that should be picked off, I hope it doesn't take Kevin O'Connell.
I don't
too
disagree.
long
I would take Hall. Yeah, I would take Hall.
If we're seeing that, obviously so far, I mean those aren't getting picked off, but. I don't know.
I feel like he shouldn't even. I feel like he should have a short leash. I feel like if he throws 3 interceptions in the first half of this game right here coming up, or 2 interceptions, he should be benched. And put Hall in. Facts. Like I think there should be a leash like that. It definitely shouldn't be no long leash on his ass. You know what I'm saying? He ain't earned that right yet. You know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of something me and Jamie have been talking about since he got the job. It's like the leash when. Like if he kept playing like he did first half of the Saints game, then there's no problem.
Yeah, the first half of the Saints game, I was like, okay, I guess his story, I guess he's the next year Warren.
I would say the second quarter of the first half of the Saints game.
Yeah.
Because the first drive he should have thrown a pick, and the second drive
he
was
should've.
3 and out.
Yeah, but here's the thing. But how many quarterbacks in the history of time throw those balls and they don't get intercepted? And there's like, that's his magic.
And it gets
That's
tipped,
what he
and
does.
then it falls into Addison's hands, and it only happens to us usually.
Or when Justin Herbert throws a ball front corner of the end zone, one of our guys jumps up, tips it, it falls into his hands. It's a touchdown. That's one of the big reasons we lose.
That's
the game.
some bullshit
It just
right
happens.
there. That only happens to us.
Yeah.
But all right,
Shout out.
we've been going.
Yeah,
for
let's do that. I was
hours
about to
now.
say, man, because if not, I'm about to get out of here in a minute. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
let y'all
yeah,
continue. Tap
All right,
back in.
I
everybody.
haven't had
in
dinner
here.
yet, so I got to eat. So we got to get this rolling.
Yeah.
Let's get
So
rolling.
we're gonna get this
And call your
away
dad.
pretty quick here. Hashtag Skulls in the comments. This is a Daniil Hunter auto. Here, I'll do this real quick. I don't know how this is actually gonna work. There we go. Boom. Daniil Hunter auto. Gold auto. 1 of 50 first on print. Hashtag Skulls in the comments. We hit 1,000 subscribers, a huge milestone for us. And I told everyone in here, once we did that, we'll give away this Daniil Hunter auto. So get those hashtag Skulls in. Let's fucking go. Sorry, JJ. Earmuffs.
Let's go. Oh no, he's still here. I thought he had to go cook pie.
He came back.
He's back.
Let you all know. That, we're getting them in here quick. All right, we'll get this going here.
All right,
Let me bring this
it.
up. All right, Daniil Hunter, you have to be here to win. That's a rule. We're keeping it. It is the rule.
Back.
Have to be here to win. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1.
And just because you don't see your name scroll by doesn't mean you're not in.
Yeah. Ooh, let's go.
And
AJ,
let's go, man.
All right,
Maybe
Let's go, Jay Jizzle.
Maybe that shit does work.
Maybe spamming does work. You know what I mean?
We
JJ
just
will probably
encouraged
be
him.
Bringing up that spamming big time.
Casey's like pondering.
JJ.
I
I don't know if he qualifies. I don't know. That might not. No. I'm glad he won for sure. Shout out JJ, man.
Let's go.
He gonna cherish it too. So that's the
Dude,
good thing too. Is he's gonna actually cherish that card.
I told y'all. JJ, and he already won. I mean, JJ is catching up with a lot of. I mean, he's already won. He won the Addison card that will be coming to him soon as well. Recently, but JJ wins it. Hey,
JJ, appreciate it, man.
I mean, we keep these subs going at 1500. I'll have something else special every 500. Let's do that. Every 500 extra subs, we'll do something a little extra special. We have other plans too in the future as well, but.
Absolutely. Anyway, last thing we'll do here. Let's go around. Let's go around the room. Score predictions for this game against the Bears. Monday Night Football. Do we get back on track? Go into the bye week at 7-5. Rap, we'll start with you.
Yeah, man. I got the score 24-16. Vikings definitely win at the bank, man. We're gonna get us a dub. So yeah, I'm feeling confident about this game for sure. The Bears are that bad, in my opinion. Yeah. Like even when they play their best game that they could possibly play as a team, they still found a way to lose it last week against the Lions. So I don't see them, that was them playing the type of game they played against the Lions is kind of that game in the middle of the season where everything clicked for them and they still found a way to give it up. So I think they're going to go back to being the Bears that we know, and we should be able to control the game for the most part. Control it, man. Keep at least a 10-point lead throughout.
Good. Dave, what you got?
One thing real quick.
Yeah.
Hey,
right,
Evil,
right.
hey, apologize for that. We have to admit Cousins is the reason the Vikings haven't won a Super Bowl. This team isn't a win now situation anymore. Time to actually rebuild.
Something he has in common with all the quarterbacks is not a single one of them in Viking uniform has won a Super Bowl. So I guess Cousins did not play in 1968 or 78 or 88, 2008. Mm. So I don't think it's reserved to him. I think we're going with the triple option this week.
Got Evil.
TJ Hawkinson at quarterback. Dobbs playing tailback. Dive back. CJ Ham. I think we're going to go a lot of CJ Ham.
I like that
this week for sure.
Hey, but listen real quick before y'all continue, man. I love y'all, man. Appreciate the one. Y'all getting to the 1K. I hear my daughter in the other room, man. I got to get over there.
Sounds good, bro.
Sounds good, man.
Hey, I'm going to get out, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, man. Skol Vikes, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. See you, Rap. Appreciate you in. Let's go.
And And we're going to still win 27-17.
27-17.
17. Should I go? Do you want to go next or you want me to go?
I got 27-14.
I got 4 more than that. I think I'm going to go with Rapper. I think this Chicago Bears team is completely trash. I think what we've seen from this defense the last 5 weeks, other than that Broncos game, was amazing to watch. And I think we're the type of team that's going to bounce back after an ugly loss now and going into a bye that all the momentum. And I think it's going to be a game where we destroy the Bears 31-14. Let's go.
Let's hope so, man. Let's hope
Oh,
so.
man,
Anything else?
21-18 Bears. Two-tone Tony 30-24. Point spread is 3.5. Yeah, take the Vikings easily on that.
Eh?
We've been going Vikings on our pick'em stuff every single week, and we've won every single time. I don't know what's with them and hating on the Vikes. You're a Packer fan, so it makes more sense. But
hey, he picked the Vikes to win. The Packer fans at 28-17.
ooh,
Old Steve, the Packer fan.
Bears suck too, though. Bears. I mean,
Don't like the
Packers
Bears.
usually hate Bears more than us. We don't score 40.
David's got 35-17. Are we underdogs? I actually
Let's
don't
go.
know.
3.5 point favorites.
Are we?
God, that is not enough. We've been in against the Falcons, against the Saints, and against the Broncos. We were like 3.5, or not favorites.
Dogs. 3.5 point dogs. Is that what you're
Underdogs.
saying? Underdogs.
3.5 point underdogs. That's what it is. Yeah. So I'm looking for, but there's always the first
Jamie,
time that's happened.
Jamie, I got to correct you on something. You said
What?
Dobbs
What?
scored the 2 highest scoring out of the top 3.
Yeah.
28
31.
and 27.
20 and then 31 in the first game.
31 and
Technically,
Guys,
only 28 of
Falcons
those
are-
were Dobbs, though. To be fair, that first game.
Falcons 31, right?
Yep. And then
Saints
the 27.
27.
Yeah,
We scored 28 twice.
we did.
All right,
Who
so
else
yeah,
besides the
28.
Eagles?
28
So-
and yeah, you're right.
Okay. Hey, say that one more time. let them hear in the back. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're right.
Let them- But all right, fellas,
Yeah.
anything else before we
yeah.
hop off so I can go crush a Jack's Pizza?
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Is that good?
Get
Jack's
out of
Pizza?
here.
Uh,
Don't worry about it.
But all right, everybody. We thanks everybody for hopping in. 1,000 subscribers, big for us. Hopefully, keep this going. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hopefully, everyone has a good Turkey Day tomorrow.
Absolutely. And
All that
anybody
good
that
stuff.
anybody that
Thank
dropped
you.
a dono, we appreciate that as well.
Absolutely.
And yeah. So until next week. Yeah, again, hope everybody's having a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully we're talking about a 7-5 operation going into the bye week. Let's go. We'll see you guys next time.
No thanks to Casey saying we're
Skol
gonna lose.
Likes.